folks, Captain Jim coming to you with another ride video and a test of the DJI Osmo Action 4 camera with the DJI Mic 2 inside my helmet, and no 360 camera today. I'm riding my wife's Xmax and it's not set up for a 360 camera anywhere around the front end of the bike, so just the Action 4 this morning, and this one is a test to see how this camera and mic combination does with the wind noise on the Xmax. A little bit about the Xmax. It's a Yamaha scooter, single cylinder, 300cc. Definitely more performance oriented than my Bergman 200. It has more acceleration, a higher top end speed, a little grippier brakes, a little more supple ride, and great grip with the Michelin City Grip 2 tires on it. And a comfortable ride. When my wife first got this scoot, I was kind of thinking it wasn't particularly comfortable for me with the seat height and that, but the more I ride it, the more comfortable I've gotten with it, and the more I appreciate how it can handle everything. It's nimble enough for twisty roads like I'm riding today, and strong enough to take you 75, 80 on the highways. And it gets great gas mileage. She has generally seen between 85 and I think her best has been right around 100 miles per gallon. And that's on regular fuel, not on premium. So pretty impressive. And the Yamaha has ABS brakes and traction control standard. So all in all, it's a very nice package. And another discussion this morning. It is another warm one in the Phoenix area. I got up just after 6 o'clock and it was already 92 degrees. Turned on the TV to listen to the weather weasels talk about it's another record high low overnight temperature. So this is 4 days in a row now where the low at night has been a record high. And getting out of the house right around 7 o'clock, it was already up to 95 degrees. Going to be 110 today in the Phoenix area. So I got to get my riding in early before it gets absolutely unbearable. Moving here from Texas, the very southern tip, the tropical tip of Texas, we're used to heat and humidity, but our actual outside air temperatures down there during the summer were generally in the low 90s. Nothing like this 110 to we had 117 a couple of days ago here. And you can say that it's a dry heat, but it's a hot heat. And it feels it, you notice it. Step outside from air conditioning and it's like a slap right upside the head with how hot it is. So we try and get our outdoor activities done first thing in the morning or after the sun goes down. But it was too warm to even soak in the hot tub last night, even though I've got the temperature on the hot tub set down to around 92 degrees. Went out last night around 9 o'clock and the tub was reading 104 degrees, and it's really well insulated. but it does set out where the sun can pound on it all day long. And I think the weather weasels around here, for any of you who aren't familiar with my terminology, that's what I call the weather forecasters on TV. They seem to take great delight in the misery of the high temperatures around here. I can't wait to tell you about another record high, whether it's a high temperature for the day or a record high low temperature for the day. And you don't move to the desert without knowing that it's going to be hot. But it's been surprisingly hot. And I think we're adapting okay to life in the desert. But just like living up in the frozen Northland where you carry a winter emergency kit, you don't leave the house without something to rehydrate when you're heading out in the car or on the bike here in the desert in the summer. Damn, this little Yamaha is fun through the twisties. Fun than my little Bergman 200? Well, the little Bergman is really light. I guess in comparison wise it's only about 50 pounds lighter than this. And this has 50% more horsepower. So horsepower to weight ratio is much higher on the Yamaha Xmax compared to my Suzuki Bergman. They're both a lot of fun. And on these twisty South Mountain Park and Preserve roads, the speed limit is 25. So even if you happen to exceed that by a mile an hour or two, you're not gonna really notice the performance difference too much until you can get out where you can really open the bikes up. Alright, I'm going to close my visor here and see how the sound is with the visor closed. The windshield on the Xmax has a 2-position height setting on it, and it's set at the highest position right now. It seems to be where Joan prefers to have it, and it's a little low for my taste. I still catch a little bit of breeze right in the middle of my helmet. But the wind buffeting and the sound is significantly less with this little windshield in the higher position. And a word about South Mountain Park and Preserve. It is the largest municipal park in the country. And some spectacular riding. It gets utilized a lot. Doesn't look like it today where you haven't seen much in the way of traffic as I'm riding. But when it's not going to be 110 degrees, there's a lot of people on bicycles and hiking and motorcycles and cars on the road. But getting out early, there's less traffic and the temperature is a lot easier to take. And I am wearing a cooling vest again today. You soak it in water, wring it out, and then the breeze blows through it while you're riding, and it helps keep your body core temperature down a little bit. It's noticeable. I'm not a motorcycle tester. We've owned over 35 bikes over the years. And we've always managed to pick bikes that were good for the kind of riding we were doing. Big touring bikes with fairings and saddlebags and trunks when we were doing long distance riding, and a little sportier stuff now that we're day trippers. We'll be heading off for some riding in the North Carolina mountains here in another week or so, heading that direction, but we'll be towing the scoots behind the motorhome. They have their own cargo trailer, and that'll be our only means of transportation other than the motorhome while we're out for a month or two. We're going to get together with some internet scooter friends for a Beat the Heat rally in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And we'll take another month or so to play around on the roads there before we start heading back west. I think we'll meander our way back home. Not too excited about getting back into the Phoenix area in August. We are into our monsoon season here in Phoenix. And so called because there's a chance of summer thunderstorms, a little more wind and blowing dirt, chance for a haboob, which is just a big dust storm. And I think they're calling a 10% chance of thunderstorms for the first 4 days this week. It's a Monday right now. And there's been some storms in the area over the last week now that monsoon season started June 15th. The air quality has been pretty crappy with a lot of blowing dirt in the air. And there's fires in New Mexico. But it's pretty decent today. If you can see out over the Gila River Valley off to my right here. All right, coming up on a parking area up on South Mountain. So I'm gonna call this a wrap, get myself something to drink, and get back to some more riding. So we'll call this an end for the test for today. Thanks for riding along.